First, to start off, we'll go right into the recipe and then weave in some great tips throughout. So we're gonna use actually, this is one of my favorite ingredients. It's not used too much, or I think a lot of people don't know how to use the eggplant. Delicious ingredient. Some people find it bitter, and it can be bitter sometimes depending on the preparation. Today we're gonna make a really nice creamy soup out of the eggplant. The eggplant itself is, I mean, it's used in, one of the more popular dishes I can think of is baba ganoush. So it does lend to a really nice creamy texture when cooked properly. And we're gonna add just some simple ingredients. It's gonna be a very simple soup. It's gonna be done ahead of time. And then what I'm gonna touch on afterwards, what I really wanna touch on is how to cool soup properly, because I think that's one of the biggest things. You make a big pot of soup or a big pot of stock, and like, I'm not gonna put that in the fridge right away, so I'm gonna let that sit on my counter for like 3 to 4 hours to cool down. That might not be the best situation. So I'll squirt a little bit. We're gonna add a little pinch of salt to the outside. And what that's gonna do is actually gonna bring a lot of that moisture out. A lot of the bitter components are in there. We don't wanna take a lot of it out, but just some of it. So we can let that sit for a couple minutes, and you'll see it actually start to get a little watery on top. The small one, I don't have to do that. So I'm gonna put that on our baking sheet here. We're also gonna do some red onion. This is just half red onion. You could do a whole red onion. Again, just big chunks right on the sheet. This is a great way to do soups because I'm actually not using a pot. You can do a pot, and you can throw all these ingredients the exact same way into a pot, but I'm gonna use the oven, get some nice caramelization, get some nice roasting going on. Sorry.
No, go ahead. I was just going to say, if you're not a big onion fan, you'll actually find that the roasting process brings out some of the sweet flavor, really caramelizes the onion, so you don't get that sharp flavor that some people don't care for. And it can make it easier to digest as well when you roast all of your veggies.
So garlic, just use the whole head, apply a little bit of pressure with your hands. These cloves come right off. And I just want like the papery part on the outside. Oh.
And your soup's ready.
Yes, no. And so I'm gonna get a few here, but I'm gonna leave the outer skin off. It roasts beautifully like this, and I'll show you in a second what it looks like. So skin's on, papery stuff. There's probably a better term for papery stuff on the garlic, but for today it's papery stuff. And then our eggplant. And you can see, if I left it a few more minutes, more moisture would come out.
It's already kind of
but you can
glistening
see,
on the outside.
Yeah. I don't know if you can get a shot there, but from the paper, as I kind of
Our eggplants are sweating.
pat it, yes, a lot of that comes off. So now that's going to go on. Now we're going to season it. The rest, we've already done the eggplant, but we're going to do the rest of the vegetables. Just a pinch of salt, just a touch of black pepper, and you can use whatever seasoning you like on this. If you like a little bit more spicy, you can do a little chili flake. I like cumin and eggplant. I think pairs really, really well together. So we're going to do a little bit of ground cumin on there. You can do some coriander. All right, and then just a little bit of olive oil, about a tablespoon probably for the entire thing. That's all it needs. Now we're going to flip them. So cut side down on the eggplant. And then that's going to go into the oven, 375 for about 35 to 40 minutes. Just until, and you can tell, you can take it out for a little bit, just be careful, but the eggplant will be really nice and soft on the top.
You're not adding any oil.
So I did. I just added yep. No, it's okay. Well, that's hot. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you're done. I don't know if you can see that there. So eggplant, really nice and shriveled up. The white eggplant. I put some celery on there as well. You can do that. Celery's got a beautiful aromatic. The onions, like falling apart, delicious. And I'll show you the garlic here. And so you can see that eggplant. It's steaming right now, really, really nice and soft. And it just, like that flesh just comes out beautifully. So I'm gonna do that with the rest of the eggplant. I'm not gonna put the skins in. Just want the flesh. And we're gonna put it all into, you can let this cool a little bit. You don't wanna burn your fingers. The skins, yeah, I mean, you can, the skins might be a little bit on the bitter side, but I mean, you can put these back in the oven, crisp them up a little bit, add them as a nice garnish, like roughly chop them, add them to the soup if you don't mind a little bit of this creaminess and a little bit of the chunkiness in there.
Eggplant chips.
Yeah, it won't be like super crispy, but
You could use them as little boats and stuff them with other
Yes.
things. That would be nice. Or instead of crostini, put some ricotta cheese. or
yeah,
something on
absolutely.
top.
Roll
Top
them up.
with something. Yeah.
All right.
There you go. The ideas are endless.
So we're gonna add now, we're gonna add zest. I really wanna brighten this dish up. Eggplant itself it's fairly mild, actually. It doesn't have like a big flavor. So it's nice to add, the cumin's gonna add a lot of flavor. The zest of this lemon here, make sure you got, and I'm gonna add the zest of, for this I'm gonna do a whole lemon. You can do half, it depends on how much lemon power you want in the soup. I'm gonna add the juice as well. We talk about it all the time, but the zest is a great way to, again, brighten up your dishes, brighten up flavors without adding anything acidic. So if the acidity does bother you, just go with the zest. Fantastic, beautiful. So we're gonna add some fresh basil now. And all of these more bright ingredients like fresh herbs, the lemon, I always add it at the end. If you cook with the basil at the beginning, I mean, you'll get some of that flavor in, but it'll start to turn a little bit on the bitter side. You won't get that sweet flavor that you get from basil. From mint is the same thing. Cilantro is the same thing. Any sort of bright herbs, soft herbs, I call them, always at the end. If you wanted something like thyme, rosemary, sage, something a little bit more woody, then you can cook with it at the beginning. So basil goes in. We've got our lemon in there. I'm going to add our liquid. So vegetable stock. We have a great recipe online to make vegetable stock from scratch. You can do chicken stock, whatever you want. If you're not making your own vegetable stock, I mean, try to find a product that's a little lower in sodium. I mean, a lot of those box stocks out there are just crazy with the amount of salt that they put in it.
And there's no nutrition. It's all, artificially flavored, powdered things. And what I love about our vegetable stock and our chicken stock recipes is you're using scraps that you already have on hand in your kitchen. So you're really, minimizing the waste, and you're getting all the potassium and other fabulous nutrients.
And we're gonna add, just to give it a little bit of creaminess, you can add some yogurt to this. Yogurt and eggplant, beautiful. This is a little bit of coconut milk. So today I'm gonna use coconut milk, but you can add anything in there. And again, just a little pinch of salt. We're gonna taste it right at the end, just to make sure. A little black pepper, and that's it. Now we wanna blend this, and again, if you want it a little bit on the chunkier side, don't blend it all the way through. If you want it really nice and creamy, let the blender go for a little bit. It's not only blending all of the ingredients inside, but it's incorporating air into the soup, which is just gonna make it even creamier, even lighter. So blend. So I can let it go a little bit more, but I want to show you. I mean, the color's beautiful, and it's the consistency. Like, this is just super, super, super creamy. Like, delicious soup, really nice and soft. It'll freeze really well. And that's it. That's our first soup, first dish.